Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to be taking a look at the Sagittarius energy today, but as you guys know, these readings are completely collective readings. So I just put Sagittarius, the signs on there, because it attracts a certain crowd. They can kind of see that. But um, yeah, we're going to take a look at the energies as they are now. Now, if you haven't had a chance to check out the Libra reading, go ahead and check that out. It should be posted by this time. And I thought it was just going to be 15 minutes. It turned out to be longer, and that's totally fine. So I'm just going to follow up here with Scorpio, if not Scorpio, because I skipped Libra and then went Scorpio. Anyway, I'm going to follow up here with Sagittarius. And you know where to find me if you'd like to have a personal session with me. Everything, all of that information you need is on my page and hit me up. But anyway, as you know, these readings are timeless and signless, so you don't actually have to be watching at the time that I'm publishing. And you don't have to be the sign that I'm reading for. I'm wondering if I'm reading for Sag or Scorpio. I mean to read for Sag, but yeah, let's go for Sagittarius. Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Look at this fire energy. Okay, Sagittarius. Yeah, so if something doesn't fit, then that's okay. Just back pocket it, come back later, and maybe it'll be recognizable for you. Sorry, I'm already focusing on the message. You know the opening spiel. All right, so yeah, this is definitely giving me Sag vibes. Okay, so I'm locked in. Interesting. I'm getting a very the word materialistic came out, but actually the vibe I got was artificial. And now, okay, we know that artifice and materialism, artificial and materialistic kind of go hand in hand. But when I said artificial, I felt more of an artificial technology, more like an AI vibe. But it's interesting how the words are coming out in a certain way so that they have associations with them. And now as I'm looking at this Ten of Swords with yeah, got it. With its arrangement, it's all coming out a certain way. So the message that they're bringing through with this, the way it's being presented, is that everything as we know it has changed. Now, when I say has changed, this feels very much like a large scale. No, that's not the correct transformation. Sorry, that's not the correct word. I want to make sure I translate it properly. Massive is the word. I made it say large scale, but the better translation and interpretation of this frequency is massive. So a massive, they're like massive, large scale, whatever. No, massive is what I heard. Massive transformation has occurred, but many of us may not perceive of it. It feels, and look at this sun card, but look at the cosmological way that it's presented. What I was going to say is, I'm trying to explain it to you. Um, that was them who said that. I'm trying to explain it to you. What it feels like is imagine a whole, I heard the word country, but in my feeling, I'm feeling a whole planet. We'll go with both of those levels, planetary level, national level, but like a whole being literally moving from one timeline collectively onto another one. And that would explain why this card, this image was selected for depicting this. This is what it feels like. There's been an upgrade. They're saying an enlightenment. So, phew, we shifted collectively to a higher frequency. Now, some of you may look around, or at least some of us may be looking around and be like, but how could you say that the world is blah, blah, blah? Okay. But remember, when you're shifting, because you're shifting multiple times a second, by the way, you individually, but as a collective, when we're shifting, you the shift occurs, and sometimes, most times, the changes are so imperceptible. Like you're shifting now and 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 now every now moment, just like the frames in a movie. Brrr. It just looks linear, but it's a set of frames being played in a certain way, right? But if you look closely from outside of the film and the projector and the machine, you see it's just a whole bunch of frames coming together. This is what I'm talking about. When you jump from one, you're just jumping to different realities. So the energy that I'm feeling here is that it feels like a massive collective shift onto a higher timeline. Now, take it for what it means. Some of you are in we may use the same terms like, oh, New Earth, oh, 5D, oh, this and that, but everybody's got their own idea about what all that is. I don't want to touch it because everyone's got different ideas of what it means for them. But whatever this means, even if the changes are imperceptible, it's a shift has occurred. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that when we shift, what you're doing, even you, when you guys, super cutely, when you shift on the individual level, which you're doing multiple times a second, timeline shifting, like I said, when you shift, you're not the same person. You're a different version and a different version, a different version, a different version, a different version, a different version. The change may be so imperceptible that you can't perceive of it. Maybe everything else is the same, but what you just shifted to, there is a hair on the desk, and you didn't notice it either way, whatever. But sometimes the shifts are bigger. And usually when you shift to a new version of self, the memory of that old version is gone because you're no whatever you were in that last version of yourself that doesn't exist in this new version of yourself is going to fall away from your memory. But sometimes some people remember these things. And so in some cases, we see that as the Mandela effect. Now, not everything is the Mandela effect, right? Sometimes there are just logical explanations for what's going on there. It could be something as simple as, oh, this company used one logo and then changed it at some point, or there are only a limited amount, that was published with that, right? So sometimes that's it. But sometimes there really has been a Mandela effect shift. And what that is basically you shifted into a timeline, a new reality, and you just happened in this time, this shift, you just happen to notice and remember something from before. Like, wait, didn't that used to, wait, wasn't this person not, wait, wasn't it? And yes, you remembered it. But all the countless times that you've been shifting all throughout your day, most times you will not perceive of these shifts because they're so small that you didn't notice. And or it's just been wiped from your memory. So anyway, that was a lot, but I just wanted to say that staying true to what I'm getting here, there seems to have been a collective shift upward in frequency, at least at the vantage point that I'm at, right? And if you're watching this video, then this message is for you as well. And that's all there is to it. I don't know. Oh my God, help me out. All right. Now, it's interesting because here we have Ten of Swords, the ending of something, right? We've got the world, the ending of something. And then we've got the Sun card, which is full illumination. But here it's lending its image of this celestial body moving from one time to the next. Then we've got something else going on here where there's a dropping into somewhere new. And this is the Queen of Swords, kind of giving a vibe. And the Queen of Swords is all about cutting something out, right? But what I'm seeing, oh yeah, so ending, cutting something out. But what I'm seeing here is that the Queen of Swords is giving us this message that your journey doesn't end here. Ah, Sagittarius, or whoever you are. Wow, cool. Your journey doesn't end here. And all of a sudden, it feels like I want to continue to build these cards so that it looks like a rocket ship, right? Needing something up there. Let's go ahead and pick a card, any card. Okay, let's go. Well, no, not this one. Oh, there, this one. Well, what's this one? Because that one was trying to do something. Okay, well, what are the vibes of this card? This card is making me feel a certain, I don't know if I like it, but let's take a look. Eight of Swords, right? Here's something I want to say. This gives me vibes like I want to make a rocket ship and go somewhere. Now, the message that message came through is a message, it's a very coded message, interesting, for my starseed community, right? What up? What up, stars? Um, Starseed community, why did that message come for you? I just heard some I just heard someone said some of you guys say we're in here too, meaning we're on this planet too, even though we have spent um more than enough, so many incarnations in other planets that we would consider another planet our home and whatnot, as opposed to Earth. We're here lumped in with everyone too. Now, I'm getting a little bit of a message here that for those of you who are star seeds, you are, and you're serving a function here. Remember, star seeds are not better or worse than anybody. No one is better or worse than anyone in creation. That's my belief. I don't know. Um, but you do have a function. And so your function here is to provide support, right? So I saw this here as energy needing to come in, kind of like a synovial joint. I love that word synovial, right? You're like your knees, right? Where you've got like that fluid filled in there. So like this is a joint where there's energies that need to come in. So almost like let me make sure I get this because I don't like to pander around with the words. Let's just Yeah, I'm getting a kind of a little bit of a tired energy in connection with the starseed community. And so this is a little bit of a corrective action that's coming in, a corrective message coming for the starseed community. They're saying that you too have to lighten up, is what they're saying. And you can't see my hand, but it's like this, boom, lighten up. I don't know why that is being said that way, but I'm being drawn to seeing how these arms are pushed backward, like, oh, excuse me, let me show you guys. She's like, oh, representing, I guess, humanity going through their changes. But you guys too have to lighten up. You guys too, in the Starseed community, are being asked, yes, to continue with the service that you're providing, continue with being the joints and helping and shifting and moving in order to make sure that this rocket ship, this liftoff, this shifting occurs in good timing and in a good way and all of that. But you have to shift as well. You can't just stay where you are because the collective is shifting upward in energy. And so you have to do your frequency as well, is what I'm getting. And part of that, why I was seeing you kind of making room there, is because you're going to start having some help. Energies are going to be coming in the form of other people to come in and alleviate some stress for you. And suddenly I can relax. So imagine trying to hold up. Has anyone done cheerleading? Okay. If you've done cheerleading and you're a base, the person at the bottom who does the lifting, right? You know, the person's foot is here, you're holding their foot, like you're like wobbling because you're under their weight until you lock it up. You know, get yourself situated, boom, and you're able to be that firmness. But you've been firm and doing all this, so now you can take a break once energies come in. For a lot of you, the energies that I see coming in are going to be children. Now, some of these children, of course, will get older and then be able to assist in the movement. But I am seeing that some of these children are going to be young, these six, and you know, all these kids are playing Beethoven's 45th. You know, they're out here doing all sorts of stuff. And so they're picking up their slack. I don't say pick up their slack as if they have to do all this. But if you look at it, look at them not as children, they're just in a little baby body at this point, but they're grown energies in a small child's body, right? They're picking up their slack, they're getting to work, they're doing their stuff. So you're going to be able to release a little bit. And as I see that, I see the star seeds, some of them, like if this is a rocket, some of them, boom, being able to branch off. Just like how when a rocket goes up, at some point the energies fall away, right? And they fall back to the earth because it was just there to help people boost up. Now, for those of you who find yourself in that starseed community where you're no longer, this is interest. I was going to say interesting, but I'm seeing you, and the word entrancing wants to come out, entrancing, seeing you enter the cosmology energy there. But I was going to say where you're no longer where people where what is it? You're no longer we're supported. So supported meaning like maybe some of you were serving in a certain role or function, and then because of this major shift, your role or function is no longer needed, right? So now the question is, what are you going to shift to? Now it's interesting. I do see some of you going back to school for medical degrees. When I say medical degrees, that's the word coming out, but you allow it to translate into whatever manifested form that is for you. If this is you going back to learn massage, if it's you literally going back to get your MD or your RN or CNA or just whatever it is, or it could be some other healing professional. Maybe some of you are going into sound therapies, hypnotherapy, whatever it is. I see you shifting your duties a little bit. And whatever you're going to be shifting to, I'm happy to let you know that uh you're going to find a lot more relaxation with it. Imagine having had to serve as just an example, a nurse on the battlefield, a corpsman or something like that. And then once the war is over, just whatever, now you have a nice little cushy job in a doctor's office and your days are in and out and you get to see people in more relaxed situations. So you're being asked to pivot a bit right now, Star Seeds. Not everybody, but a lot of you, right? Now, this also makes sense because you came here to serve a function. And we've talked about this a little bit on this channel before, that understanding this concept of spiritual significance, and this is just in general, spiritual significance is this idea that you don't want to let your function get to your head too much, like, oh, and they become over and start to over identify with this position that you hold because you came to do a function, and when you allow yourself to move in and out of that function, you are recognizing that yes, you do hold a certain post, yes, you do have some things you need to accomplish, and yes, they do have to address you in a certain way at a certain time and by a certain name, right? But that's not you. In the world that you're contributing to creating, there are many things that you will no longer be needed for. Now, listen, but if you've over-identified with that identity, then you're going to struggle in this new world, right? Now, I want to pivot back over to what we talked about. No wonder they said artificial and artificial intelligence earlier, because if you guys have been following, and they were just stepping away from the Star CD talk for a second, although we're all involved in it, right? If you guys have been following the effects that artificial intelligence has been starting to demonstrate itself as having within certain industries and upon the job market. If you've been looking at projections of how it's going to go in the next few years and whatnot, or decades, then you may well have heard the idea that there are certain jobs, certain industries and jobs and positions that are going to be phased out. Number one. Number two, it's going to call into question the let's not viability, but the hireability or the need for certain experts anymore. Because obviously, in the world we've been living in, an expert is somebody who's very much high in demand. You've got your masters, you've got your PhDs, you've got your JDs, you've got your vocationals, you've got all sorts of stuff, your MBAs, and on top of that, lots of experience, you come highly recommended. All of these things are shifting quickly because of what? Artificial intelligence, because of AI agents, AI agent technology, and all sorts of things that are are starting to occur now. People are going to be learning how to make their own things, their own AI agents at home. They're going to be able to make their own things at home. And things that we would usually have a really expert human person do because no one else could do it and they were the experts. Now machines can do this much quicker and faster. And so even people who are experts in certain fields, if you're not an ultra expert and you're just a reg expert, regular expert, for example, or you're not even an expert in certain industries, you're going to possibly see your job phased out. And you can Google all this. I'm not just making this up, right? And obviously it's coming through the message here, messages here. So this is just because certain things are no longer going. Oh, yeah, AI, artificial intelligence agents or AI agents, you can think of them as mini employees that never need to rest and they never need vacation. They never need have complaints. They don't all that stuff. And so it's a digital uh workforce, digital employees. And so what people are going to need to do in this age of Aquarius, just in general, is again, as you know on this channel, I talk about not over-identifying. Here we go with the Queen of Swords, cut it out. We're not over-identifying with anything, whether it's your job, whether it's your title, whether it's your gender, whether it's your sexual orientation, whether it's your preferred football team, whatever. We're not out here over-identifying with anything because, as you will see moving forward, you are none of these things. You're not your body. You're not your work. You're not just a mother and a wife, right? You're not just a teacher. You're not just a starseed. You are something much larger than that. You are a spirit. You are a soul that is so huge that you literally cannot even perceive of all that you are. If you were to perceive of even just a little bit more of what you truly are, you would see God. Because as our team, as our channeling guide told us, what was it back in 2023 or 2024, maybe? God is mankind's current word for what? A concept of self that they have yet, that we have yet to even conceive of. So basically, as you've heard before, all man longs for is the self, because who is God? It is you. But your ideas, your false ideas, human born, human made, human tailored for the sake of power and money, ideas of God calls you to worship and to do what? Give up yourself instead of turning in, recognizing that God is within. The sacredity is within. You are sacred. And as I'm saying this, I'm feeling the starseed energies being called back to me, to my heart space, as I'm saying this. And it's a reminder of who we are and what we are. And it's so beautiful because as I said that, it's like the message I'm getting is that imagine star seeds and just anybody who serves others, not in some creepy, like manipulative, over-serving martyrdom way, but who uses their time on earth to be of service to others. It's almost like it was an outpouring from God's heart onto the planet to be of assistance. But God wouldn't just put you out into the world to be of assistance and then to make a world and help create a world, usher in a world, and give you no part of it and give you no joy within it. So if you are a lovely starseed or whatever term you want to use, or your mission worker or just whatever, it doesn't even, you don't even have to have a label because you know how we do. We don't have to have labels. If that is you and you are experiencing, look at this Eight of Swords, disillusionment. Look at this Two of Swords. If you are experiencing disillusionment, if you're like, what do I do now? What do you have to check yourself? Because as you help, let's say the image I'm getting is like, let's say you're lovingly helping people to cross a bridge and you're standing there gently at the bridge. Hi, welcome. And they cross the bridge, right? And they're on continuing on their journey. If your job was to to be there at the bridge while they cross, and they've crossed the bridge, and now you're not seeing anyone really crossing, and you're like kind of out here like, well, I'm here twiddling my fingers. This is making me a troll because I'm just at the bridge, you know. And before long, you start to wonder. Look at this Nine of Wands. Start to wonder, and oh, with the Hangman, the stagnation, yeah, bringing all this. This guy looks mad worried, right? You know, and you're like, well, what am I doing? Who am I? Like you've lost yourself. Spirit is saying you didn't lose anything. You were not that. That's not you. That's a role you played. That's a function that you chose to play from the heart, right? And it was a God supported, God given, God acknowledged, God giving gratitude role for you to be of service for others. But it doesn't mean that you're tethered and chained to this one identity. Now, interestingly, I'm seeing, and this is going to come as comfort for some of you here, if this message is for you. I'm seeing in other lifetimes, you are really getting to work. You were hands down, heavy in the dirt. You were doing things. And maybe in this lifetime, you're playing less of an active role because a lot of the work had been already done from what you're doing. And if you're not careful and you're over-identifying with this role, you will perceive, based on your faulty beliefs and faulty ideas, you will perceive yourself as being ineffective, as being useless, as being lost, as being unaccounted for. Yeah, lost and unaccounted for out there somewhere. The image I'm getting is like this lone soldier roaming the world, wondering where the war went, and right? So they're saying it's time for you to revamp as well. It's time for you to rest. It's time for you to understand the assignment. They're laughing when they say that because it's like, the slang we say, they understood the assignment. It's time for you to understand the assignment. You're you're no more or less off than anybody else. You're not worse than anybody else. You're just here for the ride, just as long as everybody else. I'm laughing because I'm sorry, you know me, I'm always laughing at my team, but and it doesn't make you a bad person. It's okay to loosen up. It's okay to step into, they're saying, other charities, other forms of charity, other ways of giving. You don't think that there's a place for you in this new world? What do you want to do? What do you like to do? For example, if you checked my last video, Libra, you heard me say my guides are like wanting me to like be more, oh my God, did my head just go on camera? Yeah, look, my little bow. Be more, give more of myself. So I'm gonna give a little story every time. But this is a quick story. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. So some of you may not know, God bless, and that's fine because who cares? But yeah, so I do this, right? My God, I love my healing work. In fact, my guides were like, you're a teacher, healer, and motivator, and everything you do comes from a standpoint of compassion. That's something they had me memorize like over a decade ago. And of course, when they said it, I was like, what you talking about? Because I only had started teaching. I didn't know. So I didn't know I was going to really enter into healing and doing this work. And it's just been such a pleasure and I love it. Anyway, I literally get so joyful just even doing this. But anyway, long story short, but my career is in education. That's what I do. I'm a teacher, right? I teach English as a second language to lovely people from all over the world, right? And that's my training. That's my career. You can find me on LinkedIn, hit me up. Um, anyway, but the point I'm trying to say is here we are in this shift, in this new space. I have skills. I can do things with my teaching. I can create courses, I can make textbooks, I can teach, I can, get into new things, I can do conferences. I used to do conferences. I used to give talks and all that. I can do all those things. There's so much that I can do. And guess what? It will still be from the heart. And that's the point that Spirit is saying. And it doesn't mean I have to give up doing my teaching. Yeah, it doesn't mean I have to give up doing my teaching. It doesn't, yeah, I could still do teaching and the healing work, and I can still do the healing work and the counseling and all of that. In fact, I can go back to school and do right. So the point I'm trying to say is there's so much that we have been given. And if you are in the Starseed community or just light working community or whatever the term is, this is a time for you to shift as well and to understand that you're not a failure. This deck is calling me. Let's see. First of all, what is this card? It's like spearheading. Yeah, the Empress. Dang, get it? Get at the front of your rocket ship. Now, what was this card actually? What was this card? Okay, because I was like, this card is giving me stress earlier. Remember I said I didn't like the vibe here. Now, this makes sense because the strength card is fun. We love the energy of strength. But you have to understand the energy of strength is neutral, just like everything. If your strength is applied in a negative way, if you're strong, look how she's going in that direction. No, you need to come here. If you're strong in the idea of over-identifying and you're strong in the idea that I've lost my sense of self, that I have no purpose, that trust me, I've been here with these messages. I can never give you guys messages that I have not experienced, that I don't carry. So always remember, I'm out here with you. I'm with you. Tears. So this is about learning to have spiritual strength that continues onward. You were somebody before you got on this planet, and you will be after you got off this planet. You were someone before you took up this service. You will be after you took up this service. You will be during you took during you took up while you took up this while you were in this service. What did I teach? Did I teach English? Right? And so find ways to play. Now is the time to play. If this message is finding you and you've been feeling a little bit lost, if you've been feeling a little bit down on yourself, if you've been feeling a little bit, but who am I? Oh, what am I? And all of those feelings, feeling like a loser and a failure and all that, right? And I trust me, I know. I know. Now it's interesting because this card just there we go. Spiritual service, you cannot shake it. Get it? This card kind of nudged this as I felt it, it's almost like it's shaking. Like you know those Greek grimoires, those like magical books that have a lock on it. It's like shaking, and you're like, oh, should I open it? This kind, I don't know what this card is saying, but I'm just reading the energy, the message that is coming through before we even look at what the card is that whatever you're shifting into or expanding to encompass, you don't even have to see yourself as shifting out of whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you're expanding to encompass. And this expansion is not going to be you learning new things. You may feel like learning new things, but no, you're just opening up to more of who you are, of what you already have to offer from the soul level. Now it could be even more joyful if you perceive of it at this level of creation, this physical level, as being a new skill, but it's not, right? You're just opening up to more of what your soul has to offer the world. And so you're still in service. I'm seeing muffins, somebody baking muffins, right? Shifting, right? Look at this, 1111. Messages in the numbers. Giving, this is literally your higher self. And look at all this information, boom, coming through you. So what they're trying to say, oh, and also I'm seeing contracts coming in through here, money to be made. So you have people to work with. But what I'm trying to say here, the message that's coming through with this reading is you're not done yet. Your life is not over. Your service is not over. You taking a rest doesn't mean you're over. This would be a really great, I feel like I'm like scooping all of the Star CD community up for whomever these messages are, scooping you up gently in my hand, and now you're in a cute little sphere. And I'm just gently rolling you, and there's water in there and cleansing and gently putting you down on this beautiful stream in your little bubble, floating down the stream to say, relax. You're on the ride of a lifetime, is what they're saying. Oh, look how cute in the bubble, right? You're on the ride of a lifetime. It feels like floating down one of those rides where you're in the little boat or something and it's a ride. And they're saying that your journey isn't over yet, even for your perceived identity, they're saying, as star seeds or just anything. I'm just using that term here, but anything. For some of you, you may be an artist and you may never even have seen yourself as being a star seed or just any of that, but maybe you're starting to question, well, what, in this world of artificial intelligence, what is art? Who am I? What do I have to give? All sorts of stuff. Look at you. Yeah, look at you feeling like you've got to be in sacrifice mode. No. Always remember that where God is, and I'm talking about the true God, meaning that energy of all that is perfection, that is just all that is. It's so high up in frequency that we cannot perceive of it. And even if we hear stories about it, we can't believe it. For example, when I say this, sacrifice is not a real concept. In God's mind, in reality, things like sacrifice and pain and suffering, those are not real. Those are false concepts that are in this false reality that we're in. And you have to learn to understand that. You have to get back to that recognition, right? Remember that. You're not a body, you're not a title, you're not a label, you are all that is. You are source. But for the sake of this um this fractured state that we can call duality, you've now taken on an identity. So God is within. You are God. You're in and of God. You are an aspect of God. You're one perspective of all that is. Now, I don't know where the shift needs to happen for you listening. Maybe you have to shift your idea of what God is. For some of you, I just heard shift your content. Yeah, because I feel like my content may start to shift too, to align with the shifting of the energies, right? Whatever this is, you have to shift your mindset. You're not sacrificing anything because there's no sacrifice to be made. We'll perceive of there being sacrifice. But again, if you simply just walk into your friend, I'm waving at you, hi, your friendly local intuitive counselor, that's me, here to assist. And we look into your field and we talk about it. It's like, oh, shift in perception. Oh, I see, that's not a sacrifice. No, you're just feeling it as a loss. Why? Because you've over-identified somewhere. Why? Because you're it's like a teacher feeling like they have nothing to do because their class has graduated. But that doesn't mean that you're useless. Now we tend to go through these feelings in life because we fail to remember that we are not our function. You're not a mother, you may play these roles, but you're more than that. You're human. And beyond that, you're not even human. You're a soul. You're so grandiose that you can't even see yourself if you got true vision, your eyes would blow up. You know what I mean? And so now's the time for you to start to shift. Look at this, adrift, letting go, allowing a higher force to take charge for a time. What does that mean? If that scares you, allowing a higher force to um take what is it take take charge for a time, if that scares you, you're in the wrong mentality because you're perceiving that something is going to come in and take over your identity, cause you to die, to end, to cease to exist. You're meaningless. No, first of all, who is the something? It's you. It's your higher self coming in. Return of Aphrodite. Guys, I'm not out here just picking cards. We're reading the energies and they're showing us what's coming in is your own self. It's more of you coming in. And what's it going to do? It's going to shift your mindset from this fear that you're carrying, right? But you have to relax and allow it in. Now, it's interesting why this is, I'm zooming out to see macroscopically why we're bringing this message through, is because think of it this way. When it's time to fall out, retreat, speaking to like star seeds as though they were an military force, because it always feels very military, not in the toxic way, dear God, that's another talk altogether, but not one we're going to have here. But anyway, but in the sense of it's organized, right? So when we say fall out, imagine that it's time to vacate the space. We're moving, we're shifting out, right? You don't want to be stuck in one place because what are you doing there? It's time to shift up and out. And so we're speaking to some of you who need to allow for that relaxation to occur. And sometimes, oh, look how cute this card wants to come in. Super cute. I love her. She's like, she's like, it's time to open your heart. Okay, right? So gentle, right? So we recognize this as sometimes as somebody who maybe has worked for so long and now they're retired and they don't know what to do with themselves. And the first thing they need to do is speak to the nervous system. Let's relax. Let's give ourselves like 3 to 6 months to just chill and do nothing. Let's rest, relax, get the juices flowing again. And then remember, things drop into your consciousness. That's it. You don't have the effort to do anything. You're along for the ride. Things pop into your consciousness. When we say the return of Aphrodite, that part of you, that aspect of you, the higher part of you, the higher self is already on its way. It's here. It's watching you. It's watching me make this reading for you as you're watching this reading about you, right? But how can it come in if you won't let go of the old identity, if you won't allow yourself to rest, if you won't stop beating up on yourself for not being what you think you should be? Higher order. Seventh ray of ritual order, but I'm getting higher order. And it's actually, this isn't the card that wants to come out. What is the card? That's so sweet. Medical. Look at this. It's my medical card. They're like, stop doing all that activity. Boom. Relax. That's why a lot of you are still going through the motions of what was needed to help usher people into their new designations, their higher frequencies, or wherever, you were shifting them up to. Some of you were shifting people up to different levels. Some of you were shifting them here, some were shifting there, somewhere, right? And they're saying no need to do that so much anymore. The well's drying up for a reason, but you're still kind of going like this. I should be doing. They're like, no, stop. Bring yourself, collect yourself. And now look at how spirit comes in to lift you up and take you to where you need to be. Right? Spiritual service. You're the last one here. Not kidding. You're the last one here, okay? Look, family of light, unplug from mass consciousness. Is this an intervention? This is an intervention. Uh-oh. Mia immediately like, are you talking to me? Intervention time, right? So now is the time for you to let go and to allow spirit to, let's put it in the language again, to give you your next assignment, okay? Sisterhood. Home, look at this, so much healthier. Home, sisterhood, your spirits and spirit friends and family will connect you with your new designations. Look, instead of you yearning for what? What, that guy, right? Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here because I've lost count of when I started this reading. Um, but anyway, if you guys would like to connect with me, get your updates done, we do it all. So, God bless you. Yeah, thank you for your service. And I'm looking forward to seeing how you guys, let's put it this way. I'm looking forward to seeing more of what you have to offer because you're shifting, but you're not putting down anything in particular. You are expanding yourself to bring in your other skills. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Wow. Oh, hi.